Hello, welcome, welcome. I'm just letting some people into the waiting room. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Desmond. I don't know if you can hear me. Hello. Feel free to chat, pop it in the chat if you want to. Um, we've got about 30 people signed up for today. I'm just going to get started, and as they join us, we'll go ahead and let them in. I do know today is Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to all of you out there, who might be watching this on the replay. And let's go. I'm excited. This is my Monday night bi-weekly gift for humanity where we do energy work and we have a topic of discussion for high achievers and those that are here to achieve extraordinary things. I personally just got back from Vegas, literally like 20 minutes ago, on an amazing mastermind trip. So I'm feeling really, really motivated and excited to talk about the importance of emotional health in your journey and your energy in your journey to where you're headed. Emotional leaks has been really interesting for me because emotional leaks, you can't see them. You know they're there. You can feel energy. You can feel a vibe. You can, you know when something doesn't feel good. And sometimes, in how we've seen it so far, we haven't been able to really put that into relevant context when it comes to business. Aside, unless, of course, you have an entrepreneurial spirit or you've had a couple of wake up calls. And we do know that billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Tony Robbins all speak on the relevance of energy and emotional intelligence in their own success. In fact, Tony Robbins was quoted saying something along the lines of, if I knew about energy work earlier, it wouldn't have taken me 20 years to build my business. Because when you work specifically on your emotional intelligence and your intentionality with your energy, and this isn't just about setting boundaries, we're going to get to this in just a minute, you're sending out a totally different signal. And it's like clean pipes versus pipes that have like a bunch of muck in them. So you can't see what's in the pipes. You just know that the pipes are clogged. And then me, Asha T, comes in and unclogs your pipes for you so that you can see them, what's in the pipe, and also so that whatever you're flowing toward moves faster. And just a little bit of background for me, if you are new to my ecosystem, if you are new here, my name is Asha T. I work in leadership. I work in emotional intelligence for leaders and people who are running their own companies. My sort of divine purpose on this planet is to bring leaders into high levels of foundation of emotional intelligence. I worked in emotional intelligence for many years, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm unhappy. I had anxiety. I had overactive thyroid. I had all of these, you know, things that were problems for me. I ultimately ended up with a cancer scare and a divorce to show me that emotional intelligence is not just how we go after these, external things. So much of it is who we are inside. And, I work with a lot of high achieving men and high achieving women. And I find that when they wake up to this, when they really start to understand this, it becomes a non-negotiable in their life. So I'm the founder of the community Ignite, an amazing community. It runs 8 weeks. You can stay on the back end for like $89 a month. And that is like simple, I think it's about $19.98, so about $2,000 to invest. I've been told many, many times my work in 8 weeks is equivalent to like 10 years of therapy because we are getting to the root. I do not like people staying in unsavory stories. You can receive more, you can expand more, and you can take action from a place of flow. So today, we are going to talk to you about, as a leader, as a high achiever, how to eliminate energy leaks and strengthen your signal so that you can lead more effectively, starting with yourself and whoever comes into your life, right? So perhaps you're starting a new business, or maybe you are dealing with something going on in your relationships, or maybe your body. Any of those areas we're going to cover today, or even like fear of being seen, or like fear of being too magical, any of that kind of stuff that has kind of gotten in the way. So let's go ahead and get into this. And just to give you an idea of the format, I'm going to speak for about another 8 to 9 minutes. And then when I am done speaking, we are going to go ahead and get into some energy work, okay, which I'm really, really looking forward to. So, oh, I think I might have knocked my notes down. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to pull that up. All right. And so this weekend, yeah, I just got back from Vegas, which was so cool. I got to connect with like amazing leaders and people in the conscious community space doing such cool stuff. There's so many beautiful things out there, so many amazing people like yourself here to create change and, a new way that we show up for ourselves first and the things that we came for, which is very much the beauty of life. And when you do that, when you really own what's inside your heart and your soul, the outside stuff starts to make so much more sense. I'm really, really excited about this. Okay, so as I said, really excited about this conversation. We're talking about emotional intelligence and intentionality. And this is specifically for high achievers who know that they're here for purpose, impact, love, leadership, health, beauty, wealth, all of it. um, the biggest and simplest takeaway I want you to leave with today is that without emotional intelligence as the foundation, there are leaks. There's always going to be leaks when we do not understand our own emotions and what is going on inside of our mind and our thought patterns and our language patterns. They cost us time, they can cost us energy and consistency, they can cost relationships, money, your peace. They cost your peace. They can cost your purpose. You find yourself people pleasing. You lose momentum, right? You might feel burnt out. You might feel a little lazy. Any of those symptoms are because something's off in your emotional intelligence, your energy. So most people think that like intentionality means more discipline, but when you are dealing with emotions, your emotions as a human, 80 to 90% of how we decide things, including deciding not to be disciplined, comes from our emotions and the stories that we might be holding on to. So if we have chaos, if we are feeling fearful, or we have past like failure, or we are feeling avoidant, or like you might find yourself in a shame cycle where you're like, oh yeah, this week I'm definitely going to do some blah, blah, blah. But then you don't do it. That's so natural, right? But our brain is designed to keep us safe and we avoid these things. And if we're doing it just for external validation or these like survival patterns, then we can leak energy that we can't see. So that's why we have examples where two people have the same goal and one person moves toward it cleanly and the other one self-sabotages for literally sometimes years. I'm going to give you a quick example on what this looks like. I recently spoke to a person who I haven't spoken to in about a year. And he was blown away because he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're speaking at Yale Club. I can't believe you spoke at Harvard Club, like all of these things." Because a year ago, I was, still doing my work. He just he I've consistently been taking inward and outward action. So he was like, "How do you get these gigs?" I was said, "Oh, I developed an entire system. I've in a five-step system that I use in order to." Create these opportunities. And he's like, well, what's the system? And I was like, the system is something that I offer as one of my packages to help leaders like yourself so that we can get you in the same boat. And when we work specifically on your emotional intelligence, the opportunities start to pour in. So, because my background with that particular story, the strategy I developed around luxury hospitality has created momentum. But the momentum is not just for me going into the right room or having a right connection. It's an energy and an embodiment for me first, and then the opportunity aligns. So again, two people can have the same goal. In that example, it's like, speaking and working in the luxury space, and one can move toward it cleanly in a very short period of time, and the other one can sabotage for years. So it's the same desire, but two different emotional foundations. So today we're going to tighten up those leaks. We're going to get into you getting some more clarity with your energy. So It, I find with my clients, especially if you're here watching this on the replay or if you're here with us live, it's not about having a lack of vision. Rarely that's ever the case. You're a high achiever. You already know yourself. You're already probably super aware. You're probably super spiritual, or you probably have these big dreams and visions. But it tends to be something else. It tends to be an energy leak emotionally. So it could be procrastination. It could be hustling toward a certain path and getting nowhere. It could be inconsistency. It could be something hidden underneath, like a relationship issue. Could be overworking and not seeing progress. And so, or forcing a discipline instead of creating alignment. So, when we talk about EQ and how I'm going to help you with these changes, it's going to change the quality of your action. So, there are two ways that you can move through life. The first way is by pushing and grinding and over speaking and speaking a lot and not taking a lot of action to like get the receipts and overriding your emotions, just grinding through it. I was like the queen of that. I just like take action over my emotions. That was me for like many, many years. And then using the pressure as a fuel, the pressure and the fear as a fuel, as opposed to relaxing into your emotions. And then we've got the other side, which is so there's actually three ways you can show up. So that's one way is the push and the force. Then the other is very, very lackadaisical, a lot of overthinking, a lot of like, I'm not quite ready yet, not moving at all, and maybe having ideas and kind of keeping quiet about them or never taking action toward them because you never feel ready. And then we have the middle one, which is a regulated nervous system that doesn't crash, relationships that feel good even when the door is closed. Your purpose begins being enjoyed the entire way. You're not just like looking for the next shiny object from the action that you take. It's like this beautiful unfolding, and your success feels full instead of empty. And love becomes deep, sovereign. I like to call it sovereign enmeshment and like gorgeous connection instead of just an attachment to get something that you might not be able to see. Okay. So the question you want to ask yourself is like, what might make me feel unsafe on taking this action? Or that's it. First one, what makes me feel unsafe when I take this action? Even if right now you're like, I don't know, and I don't even know if I feel unsafe, Asha, that doesn't make sense to me. You can start by saying that question and then say, well, what else? What else? What else? And like, why not? Why not? Or why that? Why that? So you're digging into that question because the only thing that stops us from receiving those desires that we want is a lack of action or too much forced action, and that causes a frequency misalignment. So there's a deeper root problem with discipline, with overworking, and there's a deeper root problem with underperformance. So what is it that's making me feel unsafe? You could say, I don't know. Okay, well, what else? Well, or what do I feel? What do you feel when you think about the way you've been taking action? Okay, so every avoided action has an emotional root under it, and every overfunction action has an emotional root underneath it. Okay, so this could mean like avoiding outreaches and sales when rejection feels unsafe. It might be pushing too much in order because you're so passionate about what you're doing, and that can cause people to feel a little off put. I've definitely been in that boat myself as well. I've been in the boat as well where I've avoided reaching out, avoiding resting because you're afraid that money isn't going to come, or the opposite, where you have too much comfort. So if you're leaning one way or the other, it's totally normal until we work on the emotional intelligence leak. So the leak in this case is really all about, it's like a foundational leak. Okay. So that's really what it is. The symptom is either overfunction or underperformance. And maybe you're also dealing with like being on all the time out here with some things under the hood in your personal life. Okay. So before we move on, we're going to get into the energy work right now. I'd love to hear if you want to participate in the chat or even leave a comment on the replay on YouTube. Um, where do you feel like you aren't being intentional with your energy? And where do you feel? Where do you feel? Okay, so maybe do you relate more to the overfunction person, the person who's overfunctioning? Do you perhaps relate more to the person who underfunctions about your dreams and desires? Or maybe are you overfunctioning in one area and underfunctioning in another? This weekend, when I went on this big hospitality, an entrepreneur event. And I was speaking with a person that I happened to meet at one of the hotels I was at. And I mentioned to her, just like loosely, I said something along the lines of, oh, yes, well, for many years I spent a lot of time pushing and worrying. And now I'm so deep in receivership. And in her eyes, you could see it was almost like this feeling of like her overfunction or her rat race energy, kind of just like giving herself almost a permission to stop for just a moment. And then on the other side of the coin, I've met a couple of men who were like, we're so inspired. Like, you take such amazing action. I'm not that action driven. And it's been so inspiring listening to how you take action. And so this really cool thing starts to happen with EQ where we really do have that balance between intentionality inward and intentionality outward. Okay. So reminding you that the discipline to do both is it comes down to safety inside of our system. All right. So we're going to work on that today with the energy work. Before we do that, I am going to invite you into Ignite, which is my community for leaders. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the what's into the chat, but also into the YouTube channel as well. So if you're not following me on YouTube, it is Asha T and it's called Magnetic Frequency. I put up all these free energy sessions every single week. No, every other week, excuse me. I do a free 30-minute energy session, which you're going to experience today, right now. And then I also do all different types of videos that help with different things to help you increase your frequency for free. I love my community, absolutely love it. And I love this work. I also have Ignite, which is a community. We've got about 8 or 9 leaders in there right now. Investment is only $19.98. It is 8 weeks. It is full throttle. We have resource packs, energy work every week. And that is for those who are ready to start taking inward and outward action to really escalate the momentum behind what you are here to achieve. Okay. It is not for people who are just here for like inward work. We do both in that community. The frequency is very high. So if that feels like something you want to join, get your ass inside. Lots of dance, public speaking. I work in hospitality and restaurants. Anything that you want to do, I've written a couple of books. So anything like that, I'll help you with that because of my business consultation. And we also do the energetic and the hypnosis, which I'm certified in. And I'm so happy to like combine all of it. It's a really cool course. Further that, if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, just reach out. I do work with a select small group of high achievers. And lastly, I do group workshops in the hospitality space, in the real estate space, in any really business vertical, but those are my two main areas of expertise. Okay, on that note, let's go ahead and dive in. We are going to do intentionality energetics. So this will be a nice, beautiful quantum light body activation for you today. And if you are new to my energy work, welcome. A little bit of a background too. I am completely devoted to the highest of men and women in this lifetime for you and whatever your desires are. It's so exciting to be, at the front of this and helping people move energy faster so they can receive their desires faster. I do not believe in long, arduous spiritual paths. I personally have only been on the spiritual path for about five years. And even then, like, I just think spirituality is emotional regulation and then being magnetic. So let's get you magnetic to the things that you want and experience some shifts in your reality. Okay, so if you are not lying down, you can go ahead and do so. Or you can stay seated if you like, with your feet firmly planted on the ground. And I want us to begin by closing your eyes. And we're just going to breathe for a moment in through the nose. And you can breathe either out through the mouth or through the nose, whichever works for you, to start connecting yourself back into your body. Let's go ahead and do a nice big breath in on the count of 1, 2, 3. And as you exhale, just visualizing the breath making its way all the way down to your root chakra. And as it arrives at your root chakra, which is just located between the hip bones, you're going to visualize the air coming back up through the root chakra, so between the hip bones, all the way up through the belly, through the heart, through the throat, and back through the third eye, which is just in the center of your forehead. And then we will go ahead and breathe again inward on the count of 1, 2, 3. And as you breathe out, visualizing that circular motion all the way down to the root and all the way back up as you breathe in. And breathing out again, we are making a beautiful circle of air. It looks like a gorgeous silk ribbon of flow, of feminine essence and beauty, of art. Allowing that breath to just continue to take you deeper into your own personal journey and the collective journey here in this light body activation. And as we're seeing this beautiful ribbon of air, of energy, of breath, around it, I'm seeing a gorgeous, it's like a platinum casing, which is really, really lovely. It's not containing it so much that it can't breathe or flow. It is just an indicator of how vital and important framework is and how vital and important action is with this flow. And the paradox of life and the paradox of you as an individual, all of your beautiful structure with the chaos, and inviting both of those energies to dance with one another in the way that emotional intelligence does with the feminine and masculine. And knowing this and understanding this, we're going to now call forward your energy that may be feeling any resistance to receiving deeper levels of wealth, deeper levels of pure love, deeper levels of purpose, authority, and power. Not just in one area, but in your health bucket, in your love bucket, in your purpose bucket, in your peace bucket, your spiritual bucket, which is really the piece or the art that you came to create, the fun, the child in you. And allowing yourself to now feel the energy just starting to fill each of these buckets up. And I'm seeing them on all four sides of your physical body. So this is like the emotional body really starting to feel these buckets beginning to almost overflow in receivership. this is a really important message coming through with this overflow. It's starting to flow over and over and over. And we're releasing any stories around gluttony or selfishness or any of these programs that, believe it or not, were programmed into us to stop us from reaching our innate power to help others. Because when we fill these buckets up, it automatically fills up the buckets of those around us. It starts to automatically fill up the buckets of the people that don't have access to this wisdom quite yet, because you are holding this wisdom in a way that is so deep and powerful and rich. And quite frankly, for many of you, something that your family line has never had the opportunity or the wisdom to hold yet. So, in that knowingness, we're just going to begin pouring even more golden plasma ray. And I'm seeing some white, foamy, like beautiful, it's like a water, but it's a white light. And it's just starting to overflow like a waterfall, pouring all the way down from your crown chakra, all the way down, filling these buckets up completely. And the buckets are massive, they're big and they're gold. And I see some that have emeralds and one that has rubies on it. And there's one here that has diamonds, and then one that has citrine and sort of a beautiful yellow diamond look to it. And they're just pouring and pouring and pouring. And this overflow and this beauty is continuing to send out the signal of intentionality for all four areas. And I'm seeing just off of these buckets heading outward, where your frequency begins to expand, your light begins to expand. We're watching arrows just shooting out into the collective. They're like, it's almost like, I don't want to say like Cupid arrows, but kind of. They're like these like boing, boing, like you're like just shooting out these arrows for, let's say, like the next sort of 72 hours, and even beyond that into the next sort of like 8 to 9 days, just starting to, like, I'm gonna say it, but like trigger people almost in a way where they haven't, but you're not going to react to that in this the way that you may have in the past. It's, you're changing, like you're seeing the trigger and it's like irrelevant for you. It's like not irrelevant, but like it's like you've healed it. It's like, or it's patched up. It's patched up. That story is no longer riding in your system. It's no longer riding in your energy body. And I want you to take a nice deep breath into that. We're just going to ground all of that down, grounding all of that down. Good. This is like it's such a high level of like like intentional wisdom. There's like your sight is clean, your vision is clean, its vision is clear. What we're seeing is, again, between you and the next step. Some of you, this is for relationship, and some of you, this is for purpose. There is a fear there. It feels like anxious for some of you, and then it also feels avoidant for others. So perhaps that's relatable. Tune in to where you're avoiding and tune in to where you're anxious. Maybe you're anxious with money and avoiding a relationship, or maybe you're avoiding money and your next steps, and you're kind of anxious toward a relationship, or maybe avoidant in both. Let's just give it a feel into your own energy body and how you're showing up in the moment. And what we're going to do now is I've got, like, it's almost like a magical machete. And I'm just going to invite you to take this magical machete and start slicing like these fears that are right in front of you. Like, they look powerless. It's literally like you're on this path and you are taking this magical machete, and it's got like glitter. It's like super glitter, but it's like this like opaque, glittery machete. It's gorgeous. It's got a beautiful golden handle, and you're just chopping down these twigs in this woods, and like you're creating a new pathway. You're creating a new neural pathway, and you can see next to you this perfectly clean neural pathway. But that pathway hasn't been serving you. It's like you can see that it hasn't been serving you. It's keeping you in lack, or it's keeping you in scarcity, or it's keeping you in complacency or boredom. But you're used to it, and like you're like, oh, I've walked that path a million times, and I'm going to choose this new path. So we're taking this magical tool, and just chopping away all of these fears, this overwhelm, and these programs from lifetimes past, as well as other generational influence of the family lineage. And we're just releasing all of it. And it's a lot of work. You're feeling like a little stress. I can feel like a little bit of your stress in the throat chakra in particular, and even a little bit in the heart. You're like, there's a little resistance here, but you're prepared for the resistance. You've got the right tool, you've got the right wisdom. You know that the next level is on the opposite side of this intentional energy in this fear. So we're bringing the fear up. We're like literally inviting it to come up. And what's cool is like I'm seeing you as you're starting to clear all this away. I see the fear. It's like almost like a little animal, and he looks just like lost and scared. It's not like a scary animal that's going to attack you. In fact, you're seeing how weak it is and how much it's been malnourished. And so instead of like fight the fear, it's not that energy at all. It's like, oh, wow, let me love this version of this fear that has been protecting me for so long. And maybe you're going to pick it up and take it into your hands. And the two of you now are going to journey together. And you still got your beautiful tool and your machete, and you're just going to start chopping, but it's not as difficult anymore. So let's go ahead and breathe into this. And you're seeing the resilience building and you're feeling the resilience building. And I want you to stop pedestaling it. Like stop the pedestaling of the behavior. Like you just become the person who does that thing. You're just the person who is in an unbelievably connected relationship. You're just the person who creates extraordinary wealth and has unbelievable creative ideas. It's not like maybe some of your behaviors in the past have been like, oh, like once I get that, then I'll, like it's going to fulfill something. Instead, you're embodying this new energy of like the person that just lives like that just books amazing events, that just creates amazing opportunities for themselves, who has wealth pouring in, who has relationships that people stare at and go, oh my gosh, what is that? Like they're sending out a frequency that's a power couple, like whatever's in your desire. Like maybe you've got a few books in there that you want to create and you just become the author, like you're there now. So let's go ahead and take anything that you've been thinking is going to give you some sort of satisfaction, like outside of like, if it's great to do external things, of course, but you're going to take it off the pedestal. Just take it off the pedestal. And what you're going to do is just visualize yourself like walking by different stores. Like I just got back from Vegas. So the Gucci store and Graf, and then, maybe like Louis Vuitton, or perhaps, your style's more like dive bar, totally fun, thrift shop. And you're just like looking at these different, shop fronts as different experiences in your lived existence that bring you joy, and they're extensions of your consciousness. They're not something that you're chasing to fulfill your consciousness. Let's go ahead and breathe into that. And you're just walking through, buying where you need to buy, taking action where you need to take action, choosing things that are suited for you. Good. And as you are ready, we're going to go ahead now and just invite yourself to slowly make your way back into the room. Just begin moving your fingers and your toes. And you can go ahead now and just, I'm going to soak everything and everybody into beautiful white light just to keep a protection over the space as you begin integrating these energy upgrades. Feeling inspired, feeling calm and relaxed. And when you're ready, you can come on back into the room. Beautiful. Yay. Wonderful. Well, that was so beautiful. And for those of you who are here live today, I'm going to put this onto YouTube. I will send the link out via the Luma invite. If you're not following me on Luma, Luma, that is where I host my online events. You can find me Asha, Aashat, to come and join us live for one of these quantum expansions. further that. If you'd like to join us for Ignite, the link is in the chat. It will also be in the YouTube replay. It is again designed for people who are ready to get to the next level. It's very, very structured. I do an onboarding with you specifically for 15 minutes about exactly what you want as tangible outcomes. And then we're doing energy work and we're clearing any stories and anything that is in your way. This is my area of expertise. I absolutely love what I do. I see miracles. One of my clients just got closed a $50,000 deal after the day after he's been calling me his little secret money magnet, and so on and so forth. This is how energy works. We're building each other up, okay? And this is what it is all about. I'm so happy to serve you when the time aligns. And if not, all good. Enjoy the free content on YouTube. And you can catch me on any podcast. If you just Google my name, I'm on a lot. And otherwise, I'm looking forward to serving you soon. Okay, bye. Bye bye.